All right, so today's lesson is really just to focus on solving two-step equations with rational coefficients. Now remember, a rational number is any number that can be written as a fraction or a decimal. Today we are just going to focus on how to eliminate fractions from an equation, or how to solve with a fraction. So first step, example number 1, 4 minus 2/3 x equals 10. The first thing that I want to do is to split the equation, basically draw the river. The second thing I want to do is I am going to circle my entire variable term, because I want to really look at it and think to myself, okay, what do I have to move away first in order to get this variable all by itself? This says 4 minus 2/3 times x, and we have to take care of addition or subtraction before we do multiply or divide. Remember, we use reverse order of operations. So I actually have to get rid of this 4, and the only way to do that is to subtract 4 from both sides, because remember, whatever you do on one side, you must do to the other. 4 minus 4 is 0. That leaves me with negative 2/3 x. 10 minus 4 is 6. All right. Remember when we talked about having a fraction coefficient, the only way to eliminate a fraction coefficient is to multiply both sides by the reciprocal. So the reciprocal of negative 2/3 is negative 3 over 2. So I'm going to multiply both sides by negative 3 over 2. I'm going to turn this into 6 over 1. So when I multiply both sides by negative 3 over 2, these cancel out because this becomes 6 over 6, which reduces to 1x, or just x. I can multiply straight across. 6 times a negative 3 is negative 18. 1 times 2 is 2, and that reduces to negative 9. If I were to ask you to do the check for this, remember that you take your solution and you plug it in. 4 minus 2/3 times, instead of using x, I'm going to use negative 9 equals 10. So that becomes 4 minus, well, I can multiply straight across again. A negative times a negative is a positive. So that's going to become a positive 18 over 3. And 18 over 3 is the same thing as 6. 4 plus 6 does in fact equal 10. All right, let's look at example number 2. Example number 2, I have two variable terms. I have 2/3 x minus 1/4 x. So the first thing that I'm going to do is subtract 3 from both sides. So now I have 2/3 x minus 1/4 x equals negative 9. So here I can do something very interesting. I can get rid of the fractions. Remember, we learned that we could get rid of the fractions if we multiplied every single term by a common denominator. Common denominator would be 12 over 1. So 2 times 12 is 24. 3 times 1 is 3. Keep your x on the outside. Minus 1 times 12 is negative 12. 4 times 1 is 4x equals, and negative 9 times 12 is negative 108. Why am I doing that? Because, well, I'm doing this because this reduces. 24 over 3 equals 8x. 12 over 4 is 3x equals negative 108. 8 minus 3 is 5x. So 5x equals negative 108. Divide both sides by 5, and I find out that x equals negative 108 over 5. Can I leave my answer as a fraction? Absolutely, as long as it is reduced. All right, my next example, I see that I have fractions again. I am going to multiply both. Well, I'm going to multiply every single term in this equation by the number 12. So I'm going to multiply everything by 12 over 1. So half of 12 is 6. I'm going to cross reduce. 3 will go into 12 one time. 3 will go into 12, sorry, 4 times. 2 times 4 is 8. 4 will go into 12 3 times. 3 times 3 is 9. So that's another way that you can do that. Add 8 to both sides. 6x equals 17. Divide both sides by 6. X equals 17 over 6. Last example, look at example number 4. Tell me what the common denominator is, or something that they all go into. And again, these are all factors of 12. So I'm going to multiply each one of these terms by 12. Let me rewrite that. All right, 3 will go into 12 4 times. 2 times 4 is 8. 4 will go into 12 3 times. 3 times 3 is 9. 6 will go into 12 2 times. 5 times 2 is 10. I'm going to draw my river, subtract 8 from both sides. Negative 9x equals 2. Divide both sides by negative 9. X equals negative 2 over 9. All right, so you actually don't have a homework assignment today. Today you just have some interactive practice that will help you with eliminating fractions from equations. Good luck.